I am so excited to be here today. A little bit of change in building your business from what we typically do. I'm going to be a lot less technical. In fact, I'll probably be zero technical today because I am so excited about this year's Pro Inspectors Convention. This year, the convention is October 12th through the 14th. It's going to be in Atlantic City, New Jersey, but completely different than any other conference I've been to in 30 plus years of my career. Is there will be, for the first time ever, a distinct commercial inspectors track. That's right. Every day of the conference, there'll be a separate track only for commercial inspections. Now that's exciting because, as many of you know and have devoted a portion of your careers to, commercial inspections. And by having InterNACHI recognize this as an up and coming field, an up and coming endeavor, a good ancillary service, now we have an opportunity to shine. And so I wanted to spend a couple of minutes today talking about a couple of the sessions. I know I've used a couple of times. I want to talk about the three sessions I'm going to participate with. Now, the first session I'm participating with is an introductory session. It's a session that's specifically designed to talk about transitioning between residential and commercial inspections. Actually, I'm going to go into a little bit of detail on the similarities, how you can take the skill sets that you might already know in the residential side and convert them fairly seamlessly to the commercial side. We're going to talk about the similarities in the business. We're going to discuss the similarities in some of the approaches and the systematic approach to the inspection. But then I'm going to also highlight the differences in the buildings, the systems, as well as some of the reporting styles that might be completely different between residential and the commercial side. So I think it's a great kickoff to the conference, as well as a kickoff to your investigation to a commercial career. So if you're a residential inspector on the fence or thinking about should I endeavor into commercial, I think this is the session for you. So consider that in your planning out of your conference itinerary. The first session I am going to be presenting, it's entitled Transitioning from Residential to Commercial Inspections. I think it's an awesome session because I wrote it. I think it's an awesome session that's going to give you the background information that'll highlight the similarities between residential and commercial inspections, as well as the differences. Yes, there's a lot of differences in size, differences in scope, differences in referral sources, differences in reporting styles. But we'll walk through this in a very logical manner that might give you those tools and that positive reinforcement that if you were on the fence between residential and commercial, this might be the session that will either sway or dissuade you into thinking about going into the commercial side. I have over 30 years of inspection experience, and the last 10 years of my career, so over a third of that, has been solely devoted to building commercial businesses. So this session on Friday will certainly be something that I can help you with, and then highlight some of the advantages of being a certified commercial property inspector, and being a member of the CCPIA, for which I am a proud employee as well as member of that association and have been since its inception. We get a lot of questions here at the CCPIA about our ComSOP, the Commercial Standards of Practice. And I think they're great, valid questions. I think they're questions that need to be answered and should be answered. And it highlights the differences between the scope of the inspection between a residential and a commercial inspector. And In my career, some 10, 12, maybe even as much as 15 years ago, I found the ComSOP and abandoned all of the other standards I was using and decided that I am going to perform all of my inspections moving forward to that standard. And it's not a tough standard to understand. It's not a tough standard to adopt. In fact, it's a very logical standard. It's a standard that was developed by inspectors for inspectors performing inspections for clients. Now, I know that's a big mouthful. And so the best way I describe the ComSOP to anybody that asks me is it's a fair, easy to understand standard of practice, which a client, most importantly, a client can wrap their arms around. And so if a client can understand the what we should do and what we're not required to do, then at the end of the day, a great inspection can be performed. And so on Friday afternoon, I am actually going to give a session during this super conference, the Pro Inspectors Conference in October on the 12th through the 14th. On Friday afternoon, I am actually going to walk through the ComSOP, and particularly all of section 6, which is that walkthrough inspection. And I am going to highlight all of the key aspects. And so it's not a high technical session, but it is I believe to be an informative session that will help you understand the ComSOP just a bit better. So make sure you don't miss this session on Friday afternoon. And I don't know that you could talk about commercial inspections without talking about fees, pricing, and proposals. Now, I've been to a lot of conferences over the last 30 years, and it's usually danced around. It's usually skirted around. Oh, we don't talk about fees. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about price fixing. Oh, this is how I do it. Well, let's debunk that today. In this session on Saturday, we are going to go through a commercial inspection A to Z. Now, I'm not talking about alpha to Z. I'm not talking about nuts and bolts. I'm talking about securing the job. I'm talking about winning the job. I'm talking about following the phone call. That's the first, probably most important part of the commercial inspection. You got to win the inspection first before you go out and perform the inspection second. And then last is the report. And so let's figure out how to better position yourself to win more inspections. So we're going to follow the call. We'll start with identifying fee matrices, fee schedules, fee systems. Then we'll go into the phone call game. And how do I research? How do I find out about the building? How do I get the client to fall in love with me and devote portions of their day to giving me the job, which in hence gives me the money? And then we're going to talk about, well, once I've secured the job, how do I put a proposal together? And then how do I finally get everything in place? So I think it's a very valuable couple hours. We're going to walk through again the phone call. That's the A to Z, not anything technical. So if you're looking for something to do, which is kind of funny to say on a Saturday morning at the Pro Conference, this Pro Inspectors Convention this year, come sit down on Saturday morning, see if we can give you some insight, see if we can get you to win more jobs. Because at the end of the day, that's the key, is the more jobs you can go out and perform, the more times that you can get your name out to the public, and then consequently, or not consequently, but in the greatest benefit of all, get more inspections. And that, at the end of the day, is the most important part, is for you to do more inspections and make more money. So I look forward to seeing you all on Saturday morning during the Pro Inspectors Convention in Atlantic City, New Jersey. We've been talking about the Pro Inspectors Convention, and I am so tickled to welcome our next guest, because when we talked about having this convention and making this commercial track, Britt, you were right there up at the top of our list of who we need to invite. So I'm welcoming Britt Treece here to talk a little bit about himself and about his session. Britt.
Thanks, Rob. Hey guys, Britt Treece, WB Treece consultant. I've been doing commercial inspections for about 8.5 years. I think we're up to like 400 now, something like that. And been able to travel all over the country to do them. I've had the privilege of working with CCPIA now for I think like 1.5 years, writing courses as well, and did some webinars with Ben and with InterNACHI before that as well. I just think I get to cut my teeth and continue to learn from just great guys in the field, great inspectors. The courses that CCPIA puts out, the courses that InterNACHI puts out. Have a lot of great contacts out there that are working in the field, and I just count myself really blessed and honored to be able to work with you guys and be able to publish things and write and get it corrected and make it better. So that's why I get to speak, is just because I worked on this.
That's awesome, Britt. Now, you were part of the team to just put together one of the courses that came out this spring on inspecting commercial kitchens, and that's why we invited you over to the conference to be part of this. Talk a little bit about the session.
So, I mean, the session is going to be outlined roughly as the course is, but obviously in miniature. It won't just be an advertisement for the course. Obviously, what will happen in the session, which I think is an 1.5 to 2 hour range, usually, I usually do a break in the middle, is I usually spend the first half going over the course material, take some questions, take a break, and then what I want to do is go over just a bunch of pictures and videos, elaborate on that stuff in class, because that's the closest you can get to getting everybody out on site, really into a kitchen, which is really where you want to be. So the purpose of those videos, I'm crawling under triple basin sinks and I'm on a really loud roof and all that stuff, is to give inspectors the feeling that they're there with us. And so that's really what I want to do in the session too. I just said in my reel, and I'll say it again here, the best thing to me about the session is the Q&A. It's talking before and after with the guys, it's having lunch together, it's making new friends. Honestly, I met some great guys at last year's convention, and I'm stoked to make this one even better.
That's outstanding. So you mean we're not going to be at the Tropicana's kitchen and walking through that?
We can get it cleared.
Wouldn't that be fun?
To answer your question more specifically, in terms of the components, I'm sure that I can hear the voice, like, well, you didn't actually give us components. The components are going to be top to bottom the way that they're done in the course, because to my mind, I need a system when I walk into a commercial space, any commercial space. And we all have systems and processes we go through as inspectors. So for me, I tend to go start top, go to the bottom, and I tend to work in circles on the outside walls. So those are the systems and processes we'll talk through. Obviously, in an 1.5 to 2 hours, we're not going to cover every little detail about every little component, but we want to get people going down that path of learning and feeling comfortable with the material.
So is this going to be a session that's really for the seasoned veteran, or could somebody just dabbing their toes in commercial get some value out of this too?
I think we'd want people of all shapes, sizes, experience levels come in. And I think that's the great thing about any kind of training is the seasoned veteran can still pick up some things from a different approach that they don't have yet, but they can also add value to the people sort of in the middle range of experience and the lower range of experience, where if you don't have as much experience, that's all growth opportunity for you. But I really think the beauty of being an inspector and being a part of things like CCPIA and InterNACHI, honestly, is to learn from inspectors of all different shapes, sizes, backgrounds, experience levels. So I'd welcome anybody and everybody, you know, even if they want to ask me about a soda machine or something related.
Well,
I think that's fun.
this is where we're going to have problems because I'm from the Midwest and I've never had a soda in my life. I drank pop.
Oh yeah, I don't. That was funny. That was in a comment or something, and I was like, I mean, you got to stop the course somewhere. You can't. I mean, you can't cover like, like
we're not going to talk about carbonated beverages or pizza.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be fun to serve and serve something up in the kids. It'd be amazing to frame out a commercial kitchen.
Yeah,
right behind me.
Yeah,
maybe the art department can get on that.
Yeah, we'll get the illustrators going. So what I'm excited for you, Britt, is you are the 9:30 session on Friday. So you really get you're going to be kicking off this first ever commercial endeavor. So I'm really proud to have you along on this journey, and let's see where it goes.
Thanks, man. I mean, I'm honored to be asked again. I think, the proof's in the pudding for me always. Like, just I enjoy building the presentations. I enjoy doing the work. I feel like that's what earns you the right to stand up there and be able to talk. And really a lot of these guys that are going to come to this session are going to have a lot of experience to offer. And so I just love sitting down, talking about different things, making new connections, getting new observations, new ways to find stuff and report. And man, there's just a good camaraderie at the convention. I invite every inspector I know to come because I think it's a blast.
Well, and I know it's going to be a blast. And we've got your session, continuing education licensed and approved by several of the states. So we will have a link for everybody to go to. But Britt, I look forward to seeing you in a couple of months in Atlantic City.
I'm excited. I might even sing the Springsteen song just to kick off our session, or maybe to end it. Meet me tonight in Atlantic City.
All right. Thanks, Britt. We'll see you. We'll see you in AC.
All right. Thanks, Rob.
Well, to carry on with the trend that we've been speaking about, this Pro Inspector Convention 2023, I am so excited again to welcome another speaker. And Dillion Winiecki is here from Arizona. Well, he's not really here. We're together on this format. Dillion, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Rob. Super happy to be here.
When we started discussing this extra track, the track that's never been done, commercial inspections, we started sitting as a group going, what's an important topic? And we started talking safety. And your name was the highest on our list. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself, Dillion.
Yeah. So from Arizona originally, live in Phoenix, Arizona, 5th largest city in the nation. Tons of market for commercial inspections, home inspections. So I actually have an 8-person home inspection multi-inspector firm. I also have a commercial inspection company, total separate entity that I run as well. And then I also have a home inspection school. I call it a home inspection school. We also do commercial inspection classes as well. We're actually going to be hosting you right in February. Yep. Super excited about that. Yeah, just, a ton going on in Phoenix. We've learned a ton. We've got a lot of experience. I've got to meet some real pros myself that have really helped me grow in my career here as a home and commercial building inspector. So I want to start giving that back. I want to start sharing that with others. And so I was just honored to hear that you were interested in having me along. Another thing I felt that would really just go hand in hand with safety is I'm actually a professional firefighter. I've been a professional firefighter for 11 years. Again, city of Phoenix. Love my job. I do it alongside of running my companies and everything. But doing my job, not only have I experienced injuries myself, currently actually have one going on, to be honest, but I've also, I got a bum hip right now. But I also have seen and been on calls, on 911 calls, where there's been industrial accidents. And that's exactly what we want to prevent by giving you information in the class that I'm going to be teaching at the 2023 Inspectors Convention.
Now, I've seen your outline as well as much of your presentation, and I'm really excited about it. Now, is this a session that is strictly for commercial, or do you think anybody can come to this session that's at the Pro Convention?
Oh man, safety is for everybody. Not only that, but we're going to tell some awesome personal stories that are not just commercial based. I got some stuff that's going to make you laugh. I got some stuff that might hurt to hear a little bit. And it's all revolved around safety. So no matter, we all know this, right? It's the number one most important thing in what we do. Like there is not a building or a home that's worth our life. But not just our life, could just be, you know, our pocketbook too. I mean, we can't be, you've fallen off a roof, Rob.
Yep.
I mean, there's just too much at stake, and there's nothing that's worth, you know, our lives, or even injuring a part of our body that is then going to put us out of work for a while. And it's just no good. So we're going to spend a lot of time talking about we're going to talk about different aspects of the building or the home. We're going to talk about neighborhoods and size up, and we're going to talk about ladder safety. We're going to go a lot into that. We do a lot of ladder, you know, getting up on buildings and getting into high places. And so we're going to really go into that a lot, but we're going to really try to jog some discussion too, which I think is why I want to invite you to come attend my class. Okay. We're going to get you guys to share some of your stories. Maybe you've heard of somebody, you know, something that happened, or maybe you've experienced something, hopefully not too dire, right? We want to hear from you. We want to start some dialogue and discussion. So we're going to make it fun. We're probably going to laugh a little bit too. So it'll be good.
What I'm excited for is I love your energy, because your session is going to be Saturday right after lunch, where everybody's got the lunch coma going. And I promise you, coming to this session, you're going to stay awake and not need the coffee.
Maybe we'll get some jumping jacks going or something. We'll keep you guys awake.
You got, that's the best part about all these conventions is the wide variety of instructors that get to share their experiences and keep that energy high. I am so tickled to have you a part of, and again, this is the first ever convention that's focusing on commercial. So Dillion, to have you and your experience along for this journey is just fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. Hey, everybody come along. It doesn't matter if you're a home inspector, commercial inspector, or if you're just new to the industry and you just want to see what it's all about. Safety is number one. So come check us out.
Thank you, Dillion. I look forward to seeing you in, gosh,
all right, Rob,
less than 90 days.
Absolutely. We'll be ready. We'll see you there.
I am so excited that for this year's Pro Inspectors Convention in October from the 12th through the 14th. And as part of that convention, for the very first time ever, we are going to have a commercial track. And I've got my great friend, Lance Coffman here. Lance, welcome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, you're going to be a presenter for us during this once ever convention with commercial. Tell me a little bit about who you are and why you're an expert in commercial.
Yeah, so I'm Lance Coffman. I am the owner of Focus Building Inspections. I'm also the owner of Forever Home Inspection. And then I'm also a teacher and educator with different organizations. And so for me, you know, we have been doing true I say true, and we'll see. This may be a different camp of thought. We'll see what ruffles or feathers get ruffled. But I started as a home inspector, you know, years and years ago, and then it got to a point where I was getting calls about commercial inspectors, and there were home inspectors who were doing commercial, but I didn't feel comfortable with it. And so I passed those on, and I was like, what is it going to take to actually do commercial? Because I keep getting an influx of calls, because we had a fantastic marketing department on Forever Home. So we were naturally getting picked up by people. And I initially found CCPIA. I was already a part of InterNACHI, and that was my starting point And ever since then, I have had my nose in the books educating myself for the last 5 years with commercial. And we have grown our company from not just doing a few commercial, but to being a true commercial company, providing, I think in the next 3 years, we will have average probably close to 200 or 250 buildings a year is what we're trying to do. And that ranges anywhere from large industrial, hospital complexes, all the way down to maybe a small little office building and everything in between. We're truly doing it all. And so when it comes to experience, obviously there's going to be guys and girls out there who may have more year experience or foot experience, but business experience, sales experience, actually understanding it and growing it, I feel like we are in the top echelon of commercial companies when it comes to that.
That is fantastic, Lance. So when I was approached, and we were approached at the CCPIA from InterNACHI going, hey, we want the CCPIA to be part of this pro inspectors convention. First word I thought of was, oh, we've got to get Lance involved, because Lance is doing something that frankly I didn't do well, and that's cost to cure. So we asked you to put a session together specifically on cost to cure. Could you tell me a little bit about the session?
Yeah, absolutely. So the session during that event, it's going to be Saturday at 3:00, I believe. And, it's one of those things where you guys kind of stuck me at the tail end of everything, and that's okay. And I think you saved the best for last. And so I'm not going to be upset about that by any means. People certainly need.
A good Sunday does not get finished without the sprinkles or the cherry.
That's right. That's right. So what we're doing in Cost to Cure is I'm going to be teaching all the students on the importance of understanding numbers financially from your inspection report. So the biggest delineation between a home inspection and a commercial inspection is a home inspection is this kind of quick one and done process, right? You get one, you schedule it, you do the report, you're done. Most people never utilize those people again, and they're just kind of over. They just move on to the next thing, and you schedule 2, 3 in a day, 10 a week, whatever. But with commercial, you really are a part of the business decision process. You are a contractor that they bring in because you understand buildings and they understand where their bottom line has to be. And so with our Cost to Cure report, we're going to understand a few different items. One, we're going to understand life expectancy and usefulness of systems. I think that's important. It's important for any inspector to be able to look at a system and go, this is how old it is. Maybe this is how it's operating. Ascertain maintenance documents and understand this thing probably has X amount of years left. I know we don't want to get into a situation where we say this roof has 5 years left guaranteed. We're not saying that, but we're saying it probably has X amount of life left in it. And that's important because we're not only going to tell them that, but we're going to put numbers with it. So that'll go into our next point is we are going to understand what is a Cost to Cure report? How do I actually come up with the figures that go along with what I found in the field? So for example, I'm looking at this parking lot right now I'm parked in, and it's probably a 40,000 square foot parking lot in front of this school. And it's going to need to be completely resurfaced. So I need to know off the top of my head, how much is that going to cost square footage? What's that process going to look like? And then I need to be able to tell them what to do going forward with maintenance of it and put that into a report. And then I think the biggest thing about it is being able to use this as an important tool in your inspection process. I know a lot of guys and girls who will do a Cost to Cure type report, and they will do it as an ancillary or additional service, right? They'll upsell it, and that's great. I do that sometimes too, but I have tried to make it an integral part of my inspection. And it's a great selling tool because when you put yourself up against other inspectors who maybe aren't as experienced or really don't understand commercial, or again, I'm going to get spit on for this one, home inspectors doing commercial, it's one of those things where they don't quite understand the vernacular in the conversation piece. And so not only am I teaching you how to understand figures and numbers, not only am I teaching you how to understand expected life of systems, but I'm also teaching you how to use that as a sales tool to better inform and be a better part of the business process for your purchaser. Because if you can do that, you will get referrals, either from an agent or a buyer. There'll be a repeat buyer. Something will come from that. And it's just setting yourself up in a different level than I think than just giving an inspection, a report, and then bowing out and going on to the next project. Because I'm a part of projects where I give them a Cost to Cure report. I give them my understanding, and they keep me along the process throughout. And there's times when they'll pay me extra just to be a consultant throughout the process because I gave them data that someone else necessarily wouldn't have given them. And I think at the end of that, there's a lot of vernacular. I keep using that word, like ASTM, CCPIA. There's so many different processes that one can go about it. We'll take a quick moment to go over those as well, so that you understand how to speak to those things when you're putting together a proposal, and then what that's actually going to translate into the field.
That's fantastic. Like that's fantastic. And like I said, you're not at the end. You're the cherry. You're the sprinkles. But you know, when I really think about it, you know, not saying that that's your, you know, we're in New Jersey, so that's not going to be your special name, sprinkles.
Right.
Is do you think that you can actually garner additional inspection revenue or higher fees because you're offering cost of care?
I do. I think if it's one of those things, you know, for example, one, I think it depends on the type of client and the type of property you're doing. I always have to take that into consideration because there's still some aspect that I may put it into my report without creating a full separate report, right? So for example, if I do this, I'll bring back to where I'm staring at right now. If I do this parking lot, I may not make a full report about it because this may not be necessary, but I'll probably put what I think the cost to repair that into the actual report, right? And so even if I'm not creating a cost to cure report, I'm always putting those costs into my inspection. Now, where it becomes labor intensive, I have, you know, national clients that will come to me through like a due diligence firm or something, and it's a mandate, it's required. They say I need to have a 5 to 10 year reserve table, you know, cost report and along with your inspection report. So you have to be able to do that, but I charge handsomely for that. You know, that's an additional, you know, probably $1,000 to $1,500 sometimes, because it's a days of work, or it's a day of work to sit down and put those numbers together and plug it in. Sometimes I call local contractors. I try to make it as real time as possible. So it absolutely is an upsell opportunity, and it's also a way to make extra great money, especially if you sell it properly and people see the value in it. And it really works with like small business owners, especially, who don't know how to take care of buildings. They don't understand what the bottom line really is going to be. And you're really the hero in that scenario, and they'll pay what's worth, for sure.
That's fabulous, Lance, because in the session that I'm going to be doing on Friday, I actually talk about fees. And so
Yeah.
your presentation on Saturday is a perfect bookend to the start of the conference, to the end of the conference, and all these wonderful things that are going to go on with commercial. So so I'm looking forward to seeing your session, to being there to support you, and for all of our 5 viewers out there that are going to watch this, I'm hoping that they register early for this conference. It's October 12th through the 14th, and we look forward to seeing them all there. Thanks, Lance, for taking a minute out of your inspection of that 40,000 square foot parking lot. We'll see you soon.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, now we've heard from all of the speakers that are going to be part of the Pro Inspector Convention 2023 commercial tracks. Again, I am so excited about this session or these sessions, and the great speakers that we've assembled. These are truly industry experts that will help you with your business. Now, just to make sure that you have all the information you need, we've attached a link to the convention registration or the convention page on this video. Check it out, as well as, and don't share this, just like a radio show, the seventh email I receive, and this will go by the timestamp on the email, the 7th email I receive on August the 4th. August 4th, 7th email to Rob, R-O-B, at ccpia.org. 7th email, August 4th, Rob at ccpa.org. I will give you a free registration to the conference. So 7th email, August 4th, timestamp, free registration. How could you go wrong? Learn about commercial, network with your peers, and have fun at a conference. I have not missed an inspection conference. I go to one a year, and I've gone for the last 30 years, and I get so much value out of it. 7th email, August 4th. We'll see everybody in October. This is Rob Klaus from Building Your Business.